welcome back to the single player series. Another episode here in Goji World. Today, we're going to be doing a lot of grinding. As you can see, I have, in between episodes, kind of slowly been accumulating resources. So I've basically been planting and AFKing this huge, birch field, and then harvesting it all. So I've accumulated a lot of birch logs. I'm still going to need more, I suspect. Let's take a look. Yeah, like I said, in between episodes, I've just been doing some grinding. I haven't built any new farms or done anything drastic because most of the time that I've spent playing Minecraft has actually been in creative, finalizing the design for the palace, which I'm happy to say is officially done, and it's first wave. I didn't do a lot of details in the design. I just wanted to kind of put the walls and the floor up, and then there will be a few episodes, I'm sure, where for things like interior design and landscaping and stuff like that. But for the actual structure itself, the main piece of it, it is fully designed, and I'm really happy about that. This castle design, I think, took me like 6 days in creative overall. It was pretty intense. I think this is probably one of the largest builds I've done. And all things considered, it's not that massive, but it does have a lot of color. It does have a lot of blocks in general. And it's probably the biggest variety of block palettes that I've ever done in one single build. So that's great because I think it's going to end up looking really cool, but that's also not great because that means that there's a lot of grinding ahead of me to get everything ready to build it. So yeah, obviously we've got some birch logs that I'm going to be needing for it. I also need some stuff that I don't have yet, which is dark oak, for example, and we also need a lot of terracotta, various colors. So, in addition to the birch, the other thing, as you saw in episode 1, that I've kind of gotten ahead of in terms of farming is wool. So I have a lot of wool saved up. This is more than enough for what I'm going to need for the build. I've also started doing some different colors. I don't have any plans for all of this wool yet, just that I'm probably going to need it for banners and for decor and stuff like that. I'm going to turn friendly creatures down because those cows are driving me insane. But yeah, I don't have any plans for this stuff, but I figure I'll need it at some point, especially the orange. I think some orange banners are going to look really cool for window decor. Let's see. So also, in between recordings, I expanded the villager setup. Not by much. I just kind of added a few more farmers. They're not cured or anything. I haven't zombified them because I have found that even without the pumpkin and melon discount that you get when you zombify them, these have been enough for my purposes. It really is pretty basic. And I got 4 librarians, or 3 librarians, just the essentials. I have mending, feather falling, and unbreaking. And then some of these guys to give me my armor. So I was able to upgrade to pretty basic diamond armor that I can buy. The enchantments are pretty good. I mean, he sells this guy sells protection 3, unbreaking 3, chestplate, which is actually pretty good for a villager. Most of the times it's like blast protection 1, something useless. But yeah, it's a pretty good set, and I got feather falling 4 and aqua affinity from the enchanting table. So I've just been doing some enchanting table, expanding the villagers a little bit, breeding them, you know how it is. So I could sit here and sink 20 hours into this basement and come up with a full, assortment of villagers, but I don't really want to do that because I think I don't have a beacon, so the difference between efficiency 4 and efficiency 5 isn't really noticeable. And I don't really do, I'm not doing a lot of PvE, so I don't need sharpness 5 or smite or anything like that yet. There may come a time in the future when I want to expand this, but I think for now, just kind of getting the bare essentials and getting ready for what I need, this is in great shape. I'm really pleased with it. The other update is that I have been collecting copper. So I just did some branch mining at y equals 48, and I got, this is only about a stack and a little bit of copper blocks, because you can actually, I want to say like dupe the copper blocks. If you put a regular copper block in here, it will give you 4 cut copper blocks. So this is really just 1 stack of copper blocks, but I was able to multiply it into a lot of cut copper blocks. And this definitely puts a dent in what I'm going to need for the build, but I'm still going to need probably twice this. So that's another thing on the list for the grinding agenda in the next couple of days. And yeah, and I oxidize it and everything. It's pretty simple. Just, I haven't been doing a lot of, building farms or redstone, but I've been doing a lot of AFK time in between recordings, so that allowed me to oxidize all that stuff. I also got some iron blocks, or basically, I got a bunch of iron and crafted into iron blocks. That is from a mega iron vein, which you may have glimpsed in episode 1 when I was doing my first caving trip. I found it down, actually pretty close by. It's not far away. There's a landmark over there, a little tower of tuff in the distance. The mega iron vein is just underneath it at deep slate level, so that was really helpful because I was able to use a fortune pick and come up with over a stack of iron blocks, which is something that you couldn't do in 1.17. I mean, the mega ore veins are pretty cracked. I would like a mega copper vein, but I'm not really going to go searching for it because I don't need so much copper. I think I can get enough by just doing some branch mining at y equals 48. So yeah, that's pretty much everything of note. Just doing a lot of grinding, not a lot of building. And that's going to be the theme of this episode, because I have a lot of work ahead of me if I want to make a lot of progress on this build. Probably not going to be doing any building in this episode, just looking at the list of stuff that I have to collect. But lots of grinding ahead. So without further ado, I want to get started. And I want to find the Dark Oak Forest. In episode 1, we did a sort of a chunk-based map tour of the seed, and there is a Dark Oak Forest that's probably like 7,000 blocks away, so I want to try and locate that. And I don't know if I'm going to do it over world or through the nether, but yeah, I guess we'll find out. So I'm going to get that figured out, and I'll be back in a minute. The next order of business is, unfortunately, terracotta. And I say unfortunately for 2 reasons. First, I need a lot of it, and second, I don't have shulker boxes, so I'm going to have to play this game where I go out to the mesa, and I collect a bunch, and I put it in my pockets, and then I come back, and I put it here, and then I go back, and I rinse and repeat for a while. So we're going to do essentially what we just did. I'm going to go set up a portal in the mesa, and I'm going to start grinding. I need, mostly natural colors, so I'll need some red, some orange, and some yellow, and then after that I'm going to get a bunch of plain so that I can dye it, because I think there's a couple of more obscure colors like pink and magenta terracotta that I'm using. But yeah, I don't think I need too many of those, so I don't think the dye will be I don't think I'll need that much dye, which is pretty good. So I'm just going to go to the mesa, do a bit of a time lapse, hopefully, and just spend some time out there grinding out the next part of the build. So I'll see you in a bit. Okay, I'm back. It is now the second day of the Grindathon. As you hopefully saw with, some time lapse or some cinematic footage, I have been doing a lot of grinding logs. Logs. So I need pretty much a lot of every log type, and so far I think I'm finished with dark oak, or I'm definitely finished with dark oak, definitely finished with birch, and I hope I'm finished with spruce. So let me just tell you, I don't have a tree farm yet. I don't have an automatic tree farm. And I think all things considered, I have collected more wood by hand than I think pretty much, I ever have. And I have good news and bad news. The good news, I guess it's the same thing. The good news and the bad news is the same thing. I collected way too much birch. This is all that's left over after I set aside the things that I'll need for the build. But to keep things in perspective, here's what I'll need for the build. All of this, which, isn't too bad, and then a bunch of signs. The main reason I needed so much birch is really for the signs, because I'm using these for some exterior decoration on pretty much the entire structure. And I thought I really overestimated how much wood I was going to need to make those signs. So I have all of this. I'm going to, keep most of it, obviously. Like, I'm the last person to complain about having a bunch of logs on hand. Having a double chest of logs is, great, just for general purpose stuff. But I'm smelting up some of it because my coal situation is really not great. And I figured, it's here. I have so much, I might as well spare a few stacks for charcoal until I can get down in the mines and collect some more coal. Not that it's hard to find, but I just haven't gone down there. And then on top of that, I have a little bit leftover dark oak. Not much, but compare that with how much dark oak trapdoors and slabs. I mean, most of the roof is done in dark oak slabs, so I got a ton of those, and then just, some logs here. These are going to turn into stripped logs. And, yeah, just also, what did I do with it? Maybe it's... Oh, here it is. I also got a bunch of spruce. So spruce is probably the easiest to farm, because I just did, a 4x4 patch of saplings and just grew 4 mega trees and chopped them down 4 at a time. And it only probably took me, I was pretty surprised. It only took me about 45 minutes, maybe a little bit more, to gather this many spruce logs, which I think is pretty impressive. I did upgrade my axe to efficiency 5 because, yeah, the efficiency 4 to efficiency 5 does make a difference. So I still have to collect spruce, acacia, and jungle. I don't need as much of those. As you can see, it's hard to imagine needing a double chest of every log type in this build. That'd be pretty insane. So I don't need as much, but I do need quite a bit. That's going to be what I'm working on next. And then once I'm done with that, I think I'll be good on wood types. Now, between the terracotta... Oh, I forgot to say. So last night, it's now the second day of the marathon, the Grindathon. Last night I was able to get all the terracotta I need, which is not as much orange and yellow, a lot of red, and I'll need some other terracotta types that I'll dye from this. So this is I think overall it's about 2 double chests of terracotta, which was, a decent grind, but nothing terrible, I think. This whole episode is making me miss a beacon, though. This is absolutely by hand mining all this stuff, and it's pretty tedious. I don't mind it. You just kind of put on a good album, some music, or listen to a podcast, and it's pretty easy to get through. But yeah, it's definitely taxing on me. So I'm gonna keep at it though. This whole episode is a grindathon, so I'm staying with it, and we're gonna get all this done. I do need to finish the rest of the log types, so hopefully I'll have some replay or some time lapse footage for you, and I'm gonna get after it, and we'll see how long it takes. Okay, I'm back with another update. I have mostly finished grinding logs. I would show you my progress, but I'm actually over here in the south village where I have placed the roof portal. I thought it would be a good idea to move the roof portal a little bit further away. That way I can have the original portal to get into the actual nether, because I'll, need that periodically. But I'm here because the next part of the grinding mission is concrete. Now, of course, when it comes to concrete, the two main ingredients are sand and gravel. I have a source of sand in the form of the desert, which is right by the mesa, which you probably saw earlier in the video. And I haven't gone and gotten the sand yet. What I want to do first is get the gravel, because I actually don't have a source of gravel yet. And I went to the master guide, which is Chunk Base, and I found the closest gravel biome, which, all things considered, isn't too far away, but it's around, I think, like negative 6,000, negative 4,000. So we're going off in this direction for a while. And yeah, I'll update you when I get there. Like I said, it's not too far away, but it's definitely going to be a bit of a hike. I have the materials here to make a portal. And the other mission, you might notice here, the other mission that I have is to find a mule or a llama, because it's getting really tedious to get on the horse and fill up my inventory and commute back and forth between these faraway biomes. So my mission is going to be to find a mule, which I can put a chest on, or equivalently a llama, which I can put a chest on, and bring back at least 2 of them so that I can breed them back at the base. And I even brought an extra saddle and an extra chest in case I find a mule, or a donkey. I keep saying mule, but I actually want a donkey, so that I can put those on there and load it up. So I'm going to go all the way out to this biome here. It's going to be quite a ways. I think it's about 700... 600, negative 700, negative 600 in the nether. I mean, that's pretty far away. So I'm gonna run out there. I'm gonna look for a donkey or a llama, and yeah, I'll update you in a few minutes when I'm there. There we go. Look at that. Perfect. 2 donkeys. Let's see if I can tame it. Curious how many inventory slots a donkey has. $15. That's pretty awesome. I think I might even go so far as to take the saddle off of the horse and just carry the horse around on a lead along with the other donkey. Sweet. 15 slots. So this should give me a lot of extra inventory space. Certainly enough for me to get enough gravel for the project and take it back to the base. I'm about to wrap up for this evening, but my goal for tomorrow is going to be to hopefully deal with concrete and definitely finish the wood. The last kind of wood harvest I need to make is this little crop of oak here once it decides to grow. I'm going to AFK tonight, so by the time I get back it should all be grown and then I can harvest it. Once I harvest that oak, that'll be the end of it for overworld woods. Now, I still have a little bit of nether wood to collect, both shades, if you can believe it or not, and then I'll be finally done with wood. I think this is the first time I've ever made a build that incorporates all 8 varieties of wood. I mean, we're talking stripped logs, we're talking signs, you know, we're talking trapdoors. Pretty much every variety of wood, or no, not even pretty much, every single variety of wood, and lots of their variants. I mean, I haven't used every variant, every block type for every, you know, type of wood. That would be insane. But every color of wood is represented. And interestingly, I think this is the first time, I mean, hopefully you'll get a chance to see it the next episode, but this is the first time I've ever used the crimson wood. I find it's kind of a hard block to use, but I really like the way that it's used in this build. So every single block of wood in the game is represented in this build. It's kind of crazy when I think about it, just the variety of colors that are being used. This is not my typical palette, you know. You can, again, I've been very secretive about the design. I haven't shown you what it looks like yet because I want you to see it as I'm building it, and I want you to see it when it's done. I don't want to sort of show you the creative version ahead of time. But you can take my word for it when I say that most of the times whenever I build, especially architectural structures as opposed to just kind of artistic pixel art or anything like that, whenever I'm building, you know, architectural designs, I don't use such a widely, you know, a color palette that has such variety. This is kind of an exception to the norm for me, and I'm really looking forward to seeing it turn out. But I'm not there yet. I'm not ready to build. The Grindathon continues through another day. I'm really hoping by the end of tomorrow I can kind of have everything that I need to start building. But we'll see when we get there. I mean, I definitely made a ton of progress today. I also, just, you know, while I'm chatting here, I also took another crop of dark oak logs. I actually didn't need these logs, but I was waiting for the oak to grow, and I had all of my dark oak trees grown over there. So I decided to just harvest another crop of them, and I got a lot of surplus. So I don't have any plans for this, but, you know, I'm never going to complain with an extra shulker box of dark oak logs on hand, because that is a really beautiful oak or wood color, and it's not easy to get your hands on. So between that and the birch, I'm set on logs for a while, just general purpose logs. And yeah, all right, so that's it for tonight. I'm going to continue tomorrow, and I'll be back with an update.